This morning. Let's speak now to Dr. Asah Asante, the Director, European Studies, and a Senior Political Science Lecturer at the University of Ghana. Dr. Asah Asante, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
I trust you're well and keeping safe?
I am very well. And yourself?
I'm also doing well. The flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Dr. Bawumia, we're told, has settled on Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as his running mate for the 2024 general elections. We're told that Dr. Bawumia held a meeting with the president at the Jubilee House last Tuesday to inform him about his choice, and that the president in that meeting offered advice and shared his thoughts about the flag bearer's choice. Dr. Prempeh will now be formally presented to the party's National Council before being unveiled at a later date. And this I just read is from the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. What do you make of the consultations towards the choice and the one who has been chosen?
I think everything is nothing but an apt description of what it ought to be. In matters of this nature, you need to be thorough and you need to be balanced. And above all, you need to have that inquiring mind that you will be able to galvanize support from around all the groups within the party who matter, so as to select the person that will be acceptable to all. So I think that is what they did, except that it took them a little time. But better late than never.
We had an indication from last December that names were presented by Dr. Bawumia before the Council of Elders and the National Executive Committee. 6 months on, looks as though that choice is about to be made official. What are some of the qualities that you think may have motivated this choice?
If you look at all over the world, if you are looking at systems of government, and I'm talking about whether it's strictly speaking, presidential system of government, where you have a president or perhaps maybe a hybrid. You have a president and a vice. All over the world, particularly in America, if you look at how the qualities that they consider in selecting who will partner the flag bearer, the would-be president, if that is the case, you always want to pick based on three canons. One, you want somebody who is competent. That is above reproach. You need somebody who has a skill, has knowledge, and has what it takes to be able to occupy that office. It is a requirement that I describe as the sine qua non, without which not. Then you move on to look at somebody who will complement the ticket of the flag bearer. The reason is that in event that the flag bearer is voted into office and he cannot continue to serve in that capacity as the president, somebody must step into the shoes of that person, and that is the vice president. By our constitutional architecture, the president and the running mate and the flag bearer's ticket is the same. So there is nothing like driver's mate. That is not true. The best it can be is a co-pilot situation. So in an event that the president cannot continue, you have somebody who has what it takes to step into the shoes of that person. It's Dr. Opoku Prempeh, that material. I can say from where I said that he qualifies. Then you come and look at the apart from the complement issues, there is one factor that we need to also explore. That what is he also bringing on board? The flag bearer is always, for MPP in particular, is an economist through and through. You need somebody with other background or backgrounds to be able to complement his efforts. Opoku Prempeh is coming in as a health scholar or a health practitioner. So health issues, yes, he is very much accustomed to that. Then you move on to, apart from health, he has served in the Ministry of Education. So educational issues he can also handle with dispatch. Then you move on to energy. He has also had an experience in that ministry. So all these things will come and add to what he brings onto the table. Above all, he's a legislator, and you cannot govern without laws because they are the building blocks of every democratic enterprise. So he brings a lot of things to bear on the quality of the ticket that they have. So that is one of the reasons that I'm sure, based on which they pick him. Then we also look at what? The fact that he also will appeal to other people. He will appeal to other groups. It is so critical in what? Selecting a running mate. He will appeal to other groups to also come and support. So all the groups have said, he will appeal to scholars, he will appeal to families, because he's a health scholar. A doctor is always appeal to what? Families. He will also appeal to what? Academics, professionals, party people. Remember also in politics, ministry that we place people there will either make or make you. If you look at Ministry of Education, it's always popular all over the world because every home, education is going on. So if you come out with a policy that resonates with the people, obviously your name becomes a household name. Let us remember that the free SHS, in spite of its lingering challenges, has lived up to a high expectation. All right. So his name is also, whilst people will be mentioning the president as the originator of that idea, the implementer is also, it will rub off him and you have a fair share of that. So his name is also in there. That tells you that you need those backgrounds to come and support the president. Let's go back to the U.S. The U.S. under what? President Obama picked Vice President Biden for the simple, above all consideration. One of the things that he considered was the fact that Biden was a through and through diplomat. He has knowledge in diplomacy. And America is what it is because of what? Foreign policy and diplomacy. And so you want somebody with that type of background to be able to what? Come in and come and support. You are looking for also popularity because we are dealing with a game of numbers. Is the person popular? Yes. If you look at all the areas he has served, all right, they add to his popularity. And above all, he's a legislator that people see him every day and all that. So if you put all together, in addition to the fact that you are looking at somebody who has little or no baggage, this is also crucial when you are determining the qualities for a running mate. You need somebody who has little or no baggage, because if you have somebody with more baggage, obviously he's going to be what? Attacked. People are going to what? Depend on that, campaign against him. Whilst there is a need for you to campaign, you spend a lot of energy in defending certain ills associated with that individual. If you have somebody with more baggage, I'm afraid you are not going to be the best candidate for this enterprise. I'm sure they look at all this and they decided that he's the man for the business.
Dr. Asante, based on what you just explained about what a running mate needs to bring, are these the qualities that you think Dr. Opoku Prempeh brings to the NPP's presidential ticket?
I have no doubt in my mind. He is bringing all that. He's bringing all that.
Okay. That brings me also to the political balance, or should I say the capital that he brings to the ticket. There's a lot of talk about the Ashanti and the World Bank's role in this election. Do you think he brings the large majority of votes and takes away apathy from the party and votes in this year's elections?
It is because of the problem of apathy that I am sure they have also put in somebody who can ginger the stronghold. Strongholds are critical in any political equation, without which your strategy will crumble in no time. So if you look at Ejiso, if Ejiso is anything to go by, but I must say that you can't use one to generalize for all. If you look at the by-election, there was voter apathy, about 49%. Asante of all places, people, when they go to vote, you see droves of people trooping there to exercise their franchise. That was not the case. But that is not to say that when come 2024, that is what you are going to have a repeat. But you must also guide yourself against some of these evils that rear their ugly heads in political calculation. So you want to be very careful. Asante do not, NDC is not attractive to the people of Asante region. That is true. They always, struggle to get votes there because it is not a stronghold of the NDC. It can be understood. And same can be said about Water region as well. But the good news is that if you want to really ginger people in Ashanti region, then your best bet is somebody from that region. That will really suffice. People have misconstrued it to be ethnicity and all that. For me, the best it can be is regionalism. You want a regional balance. And those who put it along the lines of ethnicity, they got it all wrong. Simply because in political science, we have courses that we have designed with teach our students, ethnicity and regionalism in Ghanaian politics. We know that is a factor. If you don't, here we are not talking about ethnicity where you need a typical ethnic group to represent. That one, there is a problem at the end of the day. But you want somebody from Ashanti region to ginger the 47 constituencies, right? Because from look of things, if you don't take care, a party will hit the people, and that will go against the MPP. MPP at all times require 70% and beyond in order to be able to cross the Rubicon. So if you have something less than that, I'm afraid you are not going to get victory. So you want as much as possible, get somebody from the region to ginger. If it is to have anybody who will represent the party, it doesn't really matter at the score at the end of the day, then that's a different thing. Then obviously, from my point of view, you cease to be a political party because political parties exist first and foremost to win power and form the next government. So if you are not interested in winning power, then that conversation must be pushed to the banner one day. Or that we are saying that you want somebody to ginger. So once the people to vote so that apathy will be cured, then somebody from the region will be the best candidate, followed by, if you move away from Ashanti region, another place you could consider could be Eastern region, which is another stronghold of the NPP. And then you come to the swing regions of Greater Accra and the Central region. But for the first choice, for me, and where I said it is Ashanti region. So it's going to ginger them to show out their votes because they need the less performance, their worst performance in Ashanti region. MPP needs 70% to be able to win success. NDC in Ashanti region, they require only 30% and they are home and dry. And so you are looking at this dynamic. So I'm sure that is also part of their calculation that they put him in there. People who think that these things create ethnicity and all that I've said already, they get it wrong. Because imagine a situation where you can pick anybody and any ethnic group to come in. You are likely to be picking somebody from Northern Ghana. And then imagine you have two tickets, Bawumia and Nodna, and then running mate and Nodna. In that circumstance, what will people say? So those who criticize those things, they miss the point. It's not ethnicity, it's regionalism. And it stands into the language of the Constitution that in your appointment as for ministries and all that, you need regional balance or a national character. The Constitution talks about national character. And national character is nothing but what? Regional balance. So when they are putting somebody from Ashanti region to partner Bawumia, it's a good call because they really want to ginger the people in Ashanti region because there is the hope that if they are given the nod, they are voted into office, one day, who knows, their running mates could rise up to become the flag bearer, and if he's also getting the nod, he becomes the president. So these calculations are firmly ingrained in the minds of those who matter in the scheme of things within the political party.
In this context, of course, it's a ticket that will go against, or should I say, it will be a straight contest of a ticket between Dr. Bawumia and Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, as against John Dramani Mahama, the former president, and Professor Jane Nana Opoku Agyemang. let's focus on the running mates like for like ticket. What kind of contest would you expect, and who will bring more to this context? Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh or Professor Jinana Opoku Ajiman?
That is a very difficult question. I can't answer that to tell you who will bring more votes, but I can look at certain perspectives and give you my ideas about that. To say that you are certain and you know who will bring more is a function of research that you have gone to the field, collected data, you've learned from the views of the people, you subjected it to all manner of scrutiny and analysis, and at the end of the day, this is what the data speaks to. I have not done that. But from where I sit, from qualitative perspective, I can look at them from certain perspectives. Let's look at what? From the perspective or experience of what? Lawmaking. If you look at what? Opoku Prempeh, in terms of lawmaking, he is a legislator. So he has that experience. And it also adds up to his popularity and then his preference relative to what we are talking about. If you look at that one, vis-a-vis that of what? Jane, he has more experience in that area than the professor who has not been a legislator before. So there's a difference there. If you look at in terms of education, all right, and then what they stand for, obviously, Jane has a lot under her sleeves, giving the various roles he has played in the university, which is nothing but a macrocosm of the country. He has all the experience up to head of department, the dean, vice chancellor, and all that. He has seen it all. So for education, he also is ahead of Matthew Opoku Prempeh. In terms of politics, the politician itself, they are all experienced people. Martin has experience because the legislator, he's a party person and he's very active. Jane is also what? A party person. He has also the experience. And remember the last election, he was a running mate, and that also boosted her, popularity and all that. When you come to issue of popularity, who is popular? They are all popular because from where they come from, there are a lot of people who will be associated with them because of what, where they come from and their experiences all that. So these are the few that I can look at from where I sit. This is what I can talk about.
Back to the matter of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. You've talked about the things he brings to this ticket. What are the pitfalls that he must avoid heading into this contest?
Well, straight away, they should proceed with integrity. Integrity in the sense that give us true accounts of state of affairs when questions are posed to you. What is happening at the Ministry of Energy? Are we in doom or we are not? These are things that you should not be hiding, and then he should not deceive himself into believing that we don't know what is happening. He should shy away from that conversation that they are doing some repairs and whatnot and all that. The problem is there. The good news is that it is coming down a little bit, but do we have the end to that problem? You should be forthright when issues of that confront him. Issue politics is nothing but what? Speak with the truth and let people believe that this is a problem. They will be part of the problem and they will be part of the solution. And that's all. When that problem, the issue or a decision you take that comes on the attack, they are prepared to what? Defend you. But when you deceive them, obviously they have a different view about you. And then they should also be prepared to answer questions. The difficulty for their campaign, in spite of their qualities and all that, is that Dr. Bawumia has given a lot of promises. And he went ahead to give questions to the NDC to answer. NDC could not answer. And that became a problem and became one of the raw materials for previous campaigns that went against the NDC. The good news is that today the examiner is now been asked to come and revisit the questions that he has set himself. I'm sure they should have answers to all the questions that they set. all the 170 questions that they pose to NDC, they are going to be what? Thrown at them. Do they have the answers? Obviously, a good teacher is the one who sets questions and he can answer. So I have the hope and believe that the Vice President will be able to answer. But I'm not the one to tell that whether indeed it will happen or not. But I have hope. I hope. It's hope upon hope. But he should be able to demonstrate knowledge in that area beyond reproach and telling us how he'll be able to deal with that. Because politics is nothing but a contest of ideas. So that takes you to another realm. We want to see ideas that he have, new ideas that would deal with our problems. They should avoid their old ideas that do not resonate with people and all that. Look at ideas that work. And what they should also shy away is the issue of promising heaven and earth and you can't deliver anything. The era of promises, gone and gone forever. They must look at things that they can promise and can deliver. And you and I, as those who also watch the political space, must also push them into the frontiers where the things that they promise us, they should work the mathematics of it. They should help us interrogate the issues so that we can lively up the conversation.
There have been some who've raised the gender conversation that does the MPP lose out on squaring or balancing the gender move taken by the NDC with the running mate ticket?
Any human being who is appointed as a running mate, we are good to go, whether male or female, because here you are. There are people who vote not based on anything, but some of these are peripheral issues that, gender is this and all that. There's nothing wrong with that. Opoku Prempeh candidature as a running mate and he's a male doesn't take anything away from what he brings to the table. And so it's also said about the professor, the good professor, who also is a female and will also appeal to a number of people, right? All these things are qualities you bring to bear. But the real show hinges on what I call the RSM, your resources, both human and material. How do you deploy them tactically with a view to what elicit the type of response that you have or you want to have for the pursuit of the agenda of winning the election? It's a critical one. Then the S, which is what? There's your strategy. What strategy do you have? Do you want to change the old order and bring in a new one? Would this strategy stand the test of time? Will it resonate with the people? Will it help you to derive the maximum benefit you need from this strategy? This is what $1 million question that the parties must be able to address and be able to finances to. Then the last one is what? Your manifesto that you are going to draw. It should be a manifesto that deal with all our problems and then those who are even envisaging, right? And then how workable are the content of these manifestos are also critical that the party must do and do them thoroughly. Then the more they delay on this, the more difficult it contributes to their campaign because people will not understand. You rush into it and people will not get all the fine details. Bring it early so that we can look at them. You yourself will be able to interrogate them, discuss them, bring them to the table for discussion, and then we will interrogate. And then at the end of the day, we'll make sense of what is in there. If it is something fit for purpose, why not? If not, we throw it into the lake of fire. The other bit is that you also want to make sure that out of these messages, you can this manifesto, you can develop messages at the national level, at the regional level, at the constituency level, constituency-specific issues. You want to address them and address them head-on. Remember that the votes that we are talking about do not come from any national or regional level. They come from what? Constituency level. The closest it can come from is the region, where it is what? The constituency lies in the belly of the region. But the real issues are in the constituency. People will determine who should be the president or not based on constituency-specific issues, in addition to all other issues that are of national character that of regional character. Then they come and look at what? Constituency-specific issues. We don't have potable water. Is it available or is it not? We want to see a bridge constructed here. We had a promise 2-3 years ago. Has it been delivered and all that? They need to what? Figure out all these things so that at the end of the day, they themselves, before going to the polls, they know that they have either won or lost. But at the end of the day, I will urge all those who want to rule this country that first of all, they must shy away from churning out messages that undermine the stability of this country. We will not countenance that. And then two, we want people who come out with pragmatic ideas, ideas that work, not ideas that are in theory and then on paper. We want people who also will be genuine, forthright with that, and then tell us the truth in all the questions that we pose to them. If they are able to do that, I'm sure the good people of this country will decide their fate in a very positive manner. If they fail to do that, they will have their fingers bent.
All right. I want to say a big thank you. But before you go, yes, the process towards the choice has been made. But should the announcement be almost immediately or it should be delayed some more?
What is the point of delaying? When you have selected a person, you have presented a person to the president, if what we have heard is true, and then you are sending the person to the national body for final endorsement. When they finish all these processes, what are you waiting for? You need to adore that person, and the person hit the ground running. And so I don't think that you are going to waste any time more. I think the time is now for them to act and act fast, and they have shown the way that they are in tune or in touch with the realities of the ground. So they will not delay.
All right. Dr. Asah Asante, thank you for your time and for joining us.
You're welcome.